Good morning, my sweet friends, pals, and confidants. So this morning we are starting in Acts chapter 2. And I'm just going to read for a few minutes and then we'll see where it goes. Chapter 2. When the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all with one accord in one place, the disciples and apostles. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. Now remember, they were waiting for the Holy Spirit, as Jesus said the Holy Spirit would come. So they didn't know what was going to happen. So this was probably quite surprising and shocking for them, because they didn't know what to expect. Then there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and one sat upon each of them, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Let's stop right here. I know some of you are totally going to disagree with me, but you do not have to speak in tongues to be filled with the Holy Spirit. I know that the Holy Spirit indwells in me, and I have never spoken in tongues. Speaking in tongues is a gift of the Holy Spirit, not a fruit. The fruits of the Holy Spirit are something that we all should display. If you are filled with the Holy Spirit, you should display the fruits of the Holy Spirit. All the gifts of the Holy Spirit are different, and they are given to each of us as God chooses to help fulfill our destiny. I don't like that word really, but God has a plan for our lives, and He gives us the gifts of the Holy Spirit to help us fulfill that plan for our lives. So let me read on. We're still in chapter 2, verse 5. And this is going to be rough because there are some names of places in here. Don't laugh at me. And they were dwelling in Jerusalem, Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven. Nations known to them at that time. And when this sound occurred, the multitude came together and were confused because everyone heard them speak in his own language. So the languages they were speaking were known languages. French, Italian, German. I don't know if those languages actually existed back then. They probably did, or an ancient form of them. Maybe even some English. Woohoo! Some Latin, Greek. All these languages were being spoken, and the people who that was their native tongue understood what was being spoken. Then they were all amazed and marveled, saying to one another, are not all these who speak Galileans? And how is it that we hear each in our own language in which we were born? Here we go. Parthians and Medes and Elamites, those dwelling in Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, and parts of Libya adjoining Cyrene, visitors from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, Cretans and Arabs, we hear them speaking in our own tongues the wonderful works of God. They were hearing the gospel in their own tongue. That would be like me going to Haiti. I do understand Creole, but going there to a remote village where they only spoke Creole or French and hearing them speaking in English. That's what they were hearing. So they were all amazed and perplexed, saying to one another, whatever could this mean? Others mocking them, saying, they are in new wine. Ooh, they thought they were drunk. But even drunks don't speak foreign languages. But Peter, standing up with the 11, raised his voice and said to them, men of Judea and all who dwell in Jerusalem, let this be known to you and heed my words. For these are not drunk, as you suppose, since it is only the third hour of the day, that this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. And what I'm going to read next is found in Joel chapter 2, verses 28 to 32. And it shall come to pass. This is Old Testament. So this is the Old Testament being fulfilled in the New Testament, and it's still happening today. And if you stick with me through the study, I'm going to, I'm not a prophetess. I'm going to share with you tidbits that I find. What is on my eye? On my glasses. I'm going to find you things that where the Old Testament is being fulfilled even today, and places where the Old and New Testament are yet to be fulfilled. Okay, back to Joel chapter 2, 28 to 32, that is written here in Acts, in the New Testament. They're referring to the Old Testament. So the New Testament didn't replace the Old Testament. It enriches it. And it shall come to pass in the last days, says God, that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions. Your old men shall dream dreams. It doesn't say anything about old women. We just get to read the Bible and tell you what we think. And my men servants and my maid servants, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in heaven above, the signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. And it shall come to pass that whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. I'm going to stop here, and we'll pick up tomorrow with chapter 22. I just want to say I love you all. I'm looking forward to a great pouring out of the Holy Spirit in these last days, and I truly believe we are in the last days. If you don't understand what that is, stick with me. Love y'all. Bye.